Hey guys, this is Josh here from Trillium Wild Edibles, and today I want to show you all a video on Chanterelle mushrooms. This lovely little orange mushroom that we're looking at here is a Chanterelle mushroom. These things are absolutely delicious, and they're choice mushrooms known all around the world for their amazing and unique flavor. So let's take a closer look at this. Now whenever you're looking at your Chanterelle mushrooms up close, and you look at the underside, one of the things you're going to notice is these gill-like structures. These aren't actually gills. These are what's called a false gill. So if you were to compare that to another gilled mushroom, you would notice actual ridges where the gills are, versus here, we can see these are basically just little indentations. And they run vertically, and they go to a decurrent fork towards the top, and they sort of disappear right here along this wavy margin of the cap. Whenever you look at the top of your chanterelle, one of the things you're going to notice is this kind of little indentation that we can see right here in the center. Kind of like a little well or a water well or a pocket, if you will. We're going to notice that the margin of the cap is nice and wavy, just like we can see here. Now, this is being so thin, as I just discovered, is actually kind of fragile. So be careful whenever you are picking these guys to not destroy them too much, because otherwise you'll ruin your harvest. Whenever we're looking down the cap, we're going to notice from the underside that it's kind of white, yellow, kind of whitish yellow here, and then it terminates into a more yellow color, and then it terminates more to an orange color here towards where it came out of the ground. Now the top of your cap of your chanterelle is going to be this nice bright orange color that we can see here. Now this is really nice because it makes them stick out really easy for the most part. They can blend in. Now let me show you guys how well these guys can actually hide. This here in front of us is one of the main types of environments that you're probably going to be finding your chanterelle mushrooms in. Here we can see all these nice little orange mushrooms. These are those chanterelles that we were just looking at. There's quite a few of them here. And now let's see how well they can hide. If you look back over here, right at the tip of my finger, is another chanterelle kind of hiding off into the distance. We can see those that we were just looking at kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. Then if we come back into this rose bush here, actually, we can see some more hiding underneath there. These nice, beautiful little treasures. Now, your chanterelle mushrooms usually like to associate with oak trees. So if you're in an area where there's a lot of old growth oaks and it's been really wet, hot, and humid in the middle of the summer, there's a good chance you might be able to find some chanterelle mushrooms. Right back over here, we can see another couple chanterelle mushrooms. And usually in July, after the very first rain in July, is when these guys are going to pop up. So they really love the heat and the humidity, and they definitely love moisture. Another thing you might notice in this area that I'm in, as you might notice, this area has been recently disturbed. There was a couple tree falls and a couple trees that were cut down in this area. And that's something that I've noticed with these chanterelle mushrooms, is that they kind of like areas that have been disturbed or right off of areas that have been disturbed. Now, as far as picking your chanterelle mushrooms, it honestly couldn't get any easier. And that's really all there is to picking the chanterelle mushrooms. Here you can already see in just about 2 or 3 minutes maybe, I've already got quite a bit here. Feels like I've probably got, I don't know, about a quarter to a half a pound, give or take. This is a pretty good sized amount of mushrooms already, and there's still a lot more to pick. As I'm sure you guys had noticed earlier, you can find quite a bit of chanterelles all growing in one patch. And these things grow kind of like a morel a little bit, as in they grow out of the soil, and they grow in singular solitary clusters along the ground. Now there is a dangerous look-alike to the chanterelle mushrooms, so let's talk about that for a second.
The main distinguishing factor between the jack-o'-lantern mushroom and the chanterelle mushroom is that the chanterelle mushroom has false gills, like we can see here, and the jack-o'-lantern mushroom has actual true gills, like we can see here in the top right picture of the frame.
Right here you can actually see one of these chanterelle mushrooms. This guy is just a little bit too old to use. Some of it you might be able to use, but if we look deep inside of this, we can actually see this little slug inside of the center of this. We can see these little chunks that he's taken out here along the sides on the inside of this cap. So this guy is just a little bit too old. We can tell by how kind of white and dry it is right here on this top of the margin over here. Now here on this stump you can see all the nice chanterelle mushrooms that I have collected, and honestly for actual time picking, this is probably maybe 10 or 15 minutes worth of picking in just a small little area. This is going to be enough for probably 2 or 3 people even up to 4 depending on how you use it. I thank all of you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. If you want to learn more about wild edibles or medicinal plants, please make sure to subscribe.